Hello and welcome to Debbie J's Crafting Corner. I'm Debbie and today is the second card in my 2018 Christmas card series. This card is going to be featuring Darcy's Merry Everything stamp set. So let's get started. I'm going to be using this cute little penguin stamp for this card, and I'm doing some quick coloring using my Spectrum Noir markers, starting off with the beak, and that's going to be using the GY1 and GY3 just for some easy coloring and just a little bit of dimension on the edges. Then I'm moving on and I'm using some green for some of this. It's going to be for the holly in the hat, the band across the top, and for his cute little bow tie. Next, I'm moving on to some reds. I love that red and green combo, so I'm putting some red in his hat and then some red again on the sweater. I'm using DR2 and DR5 for this. Then I'm going to move on to the black portions of the penguin. I'm using some grays. I'm using GG3 and GG5. Initially intended to use GG4 as well, but decided that that was just too close to the GG5 and doesn't really give that definition I was looking for. And then I'm just going to add a little shading to the white portions with my IG1. Just adding that to the hat, and then a little shading under the hat and his sweater, and then a little bit to that little poof on the top of his hat. And now the coloring is all done. Oh, I take that back. I realized then that I had not finished coloring the little guy with his feet. So I took back out the GY1 and GY3 to add that little bit of yellow to his feet. And then I'm going to re-stamp all of this with my VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I'm going to do a little heat embossing just to make that pop a bit. I really love how that turned out. And then I'm heat embossing with my Wow clear embossing powder. Now I did forget to use my my powder tool in this. It works out fine with the Wow embossing powder, but I highly recommend that you make sure you use that just to be on the safe side. You don't want your embossing powder sticking somewhere that it shouldn't. So now I'm using my Doris heat gun to heat emboss that and just melt that real well. And then I'm just going to clean up my embossing powder. Okay, and then I decided I wanted to add a little color to this. So I'm going to take out some Distress Oxide ink and just ink up there around the sides of this. I'm going to create kind of a halo effect with the green. And I'm using the Lucky Clover green Distress Oxide ink. And then I'm just going to take an extra scrap of cardstock to protect my fingers so I don't get ink all over them, and then transfer fingerprints elsewhere on the card. Next, I'm taking out a microfiber tool, a fiber cloth, and just buffing off some of the ink. You can skip this step. I don't think that it really made that much of a difference. Next, I'm going to give the penguin a coffee cup. The sentiment I'm using is hope your holidays are Mochochino Cocoalicious, so I thought it would be cute for him to be holding a cup of something nice and hot to drink. And I'm keep embossing that one as well. And then I'll use my green marker just to color the band around the band around the coffee cup. And then I'll just fussy cut that out with my Fiskars scissors. And I decided I wanted to just pop that up a little bit, so I've grabbed excuse me, some foam adhesive squares, and I'm trimming one of those down so that it'll fit with the coffee cup. Then I'm going to just add that to my penguin's hand so he can be holding the coffee cup. And I'm using my EK Success reverse tweezers to hold that. It's kind of like having an extra set of hands. I really like using that. I reach for it all the time. Then I decided that, you know, I don't really like the way that that dimension did. That's the only place that was raised on the entire card. So I took that back off, and now I'm going to add it with my art glitter glue. So now I'm going to trim back the panel. I'm going to be using my Fiskars guillotine trimmer. And then I'm picking out some pattern paper to go with that. This is some leftover pattern paper that I had from last year, so I don't know for sure what company the paper came from. I picked out the red to go along with the red in his sweater and hat, and then I'm using my Fiskars rotary trimmer to cut that back. It's perfect size for cutting 12 by 12 pattern paper. And here I did realize that I actually cut it a little small, so I'm cutting a second piece, which is just a reminder, always, always, always measure twice before you cut, because otherwise you're going to waste some pattern paper. I'm sure I'll find something else to use those scraps for. And I like the way that that looks, and now I'm going to just go ahead and adhere the card panel to the matting that I made with the pattern paper. And I'm going to use my dot liner to do that. Next, I'm going to make a card base for this. I'm using Michael's Recollections heavyweight cardstock. This is about a 300 GSM, I believe it's 100 or 110 pound card stock. The GSM really is what makes the difference. I like this cardstock just for my card bases. It does work well for some other things, but I've still got kind of a stockpile of the other paper too. They're lower weight. Their standard cardstock that I believe is about 96 pounds, but it doesn't have that high GSM like I like. And I realized I did not fold it quite as straight as I'd like, so now I'm trimming the edges. And I'll put the panel on the card base. Next, I'm going to add a little to the inside. I'm picking another one of the stamps that comes from that same stamp set from Darcy's, the Merry Everything stamp. First I picked out this bear and then decided, no, I'm going to add the other penguin instead. So I'm going to stamp him on there with that same Lucky Clover Distress Oxide ink. And then I'm using another sentiment from that same stamp set. The sentiment says, Merry Everything and Happy Always, and I'm adding that to the inside of the card with Hero Art's black dye ink. So that's a finished card. I hope you enjoy this video today, and I'll come back for another one of my Christmas card series videos that'll be coming up real soon. Thank you again for watching, and happy crafting!